It's time now for Down on the Corner with Dale Hoffman, North Central Arkansas's premier news talk program. Brought to you by Sears Hometown Store, locally owned and operated right here in Mountain Home.
Good morning, North Central Arkansas, Southern Missouri. It is Wednesday, September 2nd, 2020 at 7 a.m. Excuse me, in a very rainy morning. That kind of surprised me this morning. I woke up and I thought, is it raining? And wow, is it raining?
Been raining all morning.
Like, boy, is it raining. Wow. We'll get to the weather in just a minute, but you could probably hear it in the microphones here on the metal roof here at the studio. We're getting some pretty heavy rain right here in North Central Arkansas, and I don't know, I haven't looked at the radar that close to see what's going on in South Central Missouri, but we got a rainy morning here, but nevertheless, it's still a good day. Hope your Wednesday morning is off to a great start. Like I say, it's September 2nd, and we got some good news on coronavirus. We've got some reports coming in. It's going to look good. 430 people have dropped off the active cases, so that's helping. So it's going to be a good day. Tell you what. Glad to have you on Down on the Corner program. It's brought to you by your local hometown Sears store. And you see right there in the graphic, locally owned and operated. And I can't say enough good things about locally owned and operated. Through this pandemic, JR has maintained, the utmost and outstanding service to the community, not just in Mountain Home and Baxter County, but to Ozark County, Missouri, Fulton County, Sharp County, Marion County, and other surrounding counties. He's actually gone to northwest Springfield, Missouri to help a client with a repair. And so that's what it's all about when you have a locally owned and operated hometown Sears store. They are top-notch folks. Excuse me. Yeah, the allergy index is at 10 today. Hope it'll wash it down a little bit.
Been that way for a while, it seems like.
Man. Your local hometown Sears store. I can't say enough good things about the very best in home entertainment, home appliances, KitchenAid, Kenmore, Whirlpool. They've got Craftsman tools, Husqvarna lawn care equipment, Craftsman lawn care equipment. You name it, they've got it. You know, your local hometown Sears store. And they're at 1029 Highway 62 East in Mountain Home. It's up on the hill behind Wendy's, same parking lot as Orson's, but they're out in front of Physical Therapy Connection. Very good parking right there. Get in, get out. I tell you what. But when you go in the store, you're going to browse around a while. Now, hang on a minute. I'm going to scoot off screen here because I've got this thing down here. Be sure to watch for the Labor Day end of summer special with up to 25% off power, lawn, and garden equipment. It's right here in this little flyer. Today being Wednesday, it'll probably come back through the mailbox. So pay attention to this. They have home appliances. They've got a lot of tools, a lot of things that people need. So your hometown Sears store. I can't say enough good things. I'm going to Sears all my life. You know, even worked for them for 14, 15 years. Sold my share of road handler tires and steady rider shocks and die-hard batteries. Remember those days?
You're dating yourself.
Oh, I tell you what. And Sears continues with their top quality brands, and so you don't have to worry about that. Your local hometown Sears store, 1029 Highway 62 East, 425-3191. The money stays here, you shop here, you invest in local people, and it's just a good situation all around. Your local hometown Sears store right here in Mountain Home. I'm enjoying Brewed Awakening Coffee. You can do the same thing, Brewed Awakening Coffee, with 3 locations to serve you. We have 2 drive-thrus, which would probably be beneficial today so you don't get soaking wet in this rain. Bomber Boulevard, and at 7:04 in the morning, they're going to be a little bit busy with the school in session. And then you got 62 East Plaza out in front of Anytime Fitness, and of course you got Baxter Regional Lobby. It's been totally remodeled, looks very nice, but follow the directions under the CDC and Arkansas Health Department rules and regulations. Don't know what they are. They'll be posted. There'll be people there in the entryway to guide you on what the protocol is. So Brewed Awakening Coffee is also in the lobby. Morning, Jamie. Got your coffee cup ready to go? I'm just now talking about Brewed Awakening Coffee. Brewed Awakening Coffee, the best coffee in town. I talked to Mike a couple of weeks ago, and he says, hey, we're real coffee. When he orders beans, they roast them and send them. So within 24 hours, you've got the freshest beans available for your coffee right here in Mountain Home. Brewed Awakening Coffee is the best coffee in town. If you're not drinking Brewed Awakening, you're just drinking muddy water. Mike and the staff do a great job at all 3 locations. Morning prayer is brought to you by Roller Funeral Homes. With all our respect, Roller Funeral Homes, 29 in the state to serve you, with one in Memphis, Tennessee. Right here in town, talk to Bruce, Brad, Charlotte, Chris. Anyone there can help you. It's not an easy job, but somebody's got to do it, and they do it very, very well. With all our respect, that's how they do business on a daily basis. And, somebody passes away. What do? I don't know what to do. Let Roller handle it. Caring, loving, understanding, they can handle it. Roller Funeral Homes, with all our respect. I can't say enough good things about the Roller Funeral Home people. Like I say, 29 in the state of Arkansas, one in Memphis, Tennessee, and of course the one here in Mountain Home. Very top-notch, very good people, and I just can't say enough good things about Roller Funeral Home. With all our respect, Roller Funeral Homes, and that's pause now for the morning prayer. Heavenly Father, addiction to anything can cause serious situations. Some addictions may not be as serious as others, but nevertheless, any addiction can dominate a person's life. Addictions can happen to anyone, regardless of being man or a woman or social status. It really doesn't matter. Lord, for those that suffer due to an addiction, mainly drugs, whether it's prescription or legal drugs, these people deserve any help possible. Lord, I pray that you'll help those that are addicted, but not to feel ashamed or embarrassed, but to find and get help, to realize there is a problem and get the issue resolved quickly. My prayer today, Lord, help those that suffer to get the relief they need. And that's my prayer today. Amen. Roller Funeral Homes of Arkansas, bring the morning prayer each and every day with all our respect.
And now,
it's going to be a soggy trumpet today. Cut that little
it got wet.
Morning weather brought to you by the Z-Team. Bob and Linda's the door for all your real estate needs. 870-405-0793. The website retiretoarkansas.net. And that's where we can find the White River and look at the rain falling. Cameras mounted in Marion County, Arkansas. The river, of course, is the county line separating Marion from Baxter. Looking into Cotter, Arkansas. A lot of rain going on there. The Highway 62 412 bridge on the left side of the screen, the contractor's truss area. You see the two little lights on over there on the right side of the screen, that little bit of a clearing. Then you have the baseball park, the railroad museum, the picnic area there in the front center part of your screen, the little clearing there. Now you can go to retiretoarkansas.net, look for the live webcam, and you can look at this all throughout the day. As you can see in the screen, the lower right-hand part, there's a little camera icon. You click that, you can download that, and you can save it to your pictures, use it for a desktop, screensaver, backdrop, whatever it is on any device you have. While you're at retiretoarkansas.net, you can check all the listings with the Z-Team and Century 21 Lemac Real Estate. The MLS is the multiple listing service that covers Missouri and Arkansas for this region. So whether you're north of the state line or south, the Z-Team is ready to serve you today. The team is ready to go. You could be in Marshall, Mountain View, Arkansas, could be in Mountain View, Missouri, anywhere in between. The Z-Team is ready to help you. Even on this rainy day, give them a call, 870-405-0793. Bob and Linda's Adore have won many, many awards. They have the most outstanding award, the most prestigious award from the Century 21 Corporation. And some people say, wow, I've never even seen that award. Bob and Linda have it. It's because of dedication to their clients and outstanding service. And so when you list with the Z-Team, you're guaranteed very good results. The Z-Team, Bob and Linda's Adore for all your real estate needs, 870-405-0793, retiretoarkansas.net. They bring you the morning weather each and every day, so here we go. Rain, rain, rain. Right now, 70 in Mountain Home, 60 in 69 in Harrison, 72 at Batesville, 69 at Salem, 70 at Calico Rock and Flippin, 72 at Marshall, 69 in West Plains. Around the region, St. Louis checks in at 68, at 72 at Poplar Bluff, 68 at Springfield, and in contrast, 52 degrees in Watford City, North Dakota. Radar-wise, this line of showers stretches from Mexico into Texas, into southeast Oklahoma, North Arkansas. It gets a little bit of a break from Illinois and Indianapolis because they didn't want to pay the taxes in Illinois, so it quit raining there. So it's raining in Kentucky, Ohio, up into Pennsylvania, New York, and then you see it there just northwest of Detroit going on up into Canada. So now we focus on Arkansas and see what we got. Wet, wet, wet. We got more rain coming in to the west side of the state, down around Texarkana. You see it there on the west side of the state, basically from Texarkana all the way to the Missouri state line. And it's moving north-northeast, as you can see the movement there. A lot of rain in north central Arkansas right now, affecting Highway 62, 412 east and west of Baxter County, Highway 65 to Branson from Conway. And I want to say Highway 63 north of Jonesboro as it crosses the state line over around Hardy, goes up into Missouri. Highway 67 at Poplar Bluff's going to be wet. And let's see, Interstate 40 is not too bad right now, either side of Little Rock, just a little bit around Fort Smith at I-49, but I-30 down at Texarkana is going to get a lot of rain here very shortly. Over here in the northeast part of the state, where Interstate 555 goes from Jonesboro to Memphis, not too bad right now. It's actually moving away from that spot. Interstate 155 going from Kennett, Missouri into Dyersburg, Tennessee is going to be wet here for a while. When we go into, I'm going to just zoom in. There's not much going on north of Missouri state lines, so we'll focus on that. You can see I-70 and I-44 in pretty good shape right now. Highway 160, Highway 60, Highway 67, 61, 62, missing one, Highway 63, I think. And then Interstate 55 south of Cape Girardeau will be wet right now. And you can see that movement going from the southwest to the northeast. And so, here we go. The national map. We have a flood watch box in Texas, Oklahoma, parts of Louisiana, and Arkansas, with a heat advisory in Louisiana and Texas, also Florida and the Carolinas. We have wind advisory, not wind advisories, but red flag warnings in Montana, the Dakotas, and Wyoming. And let's see, what's the dark red? Excessive heat watch in California and down around Las Vegas area and parts of Arizona. So for Arkansas right now, here's what we have. In the red area here that you see, now this includes, I'm going to put my glasses on to see it a little bit better here. Russellville's included in this. Batesville, we've got parts of Searcy County, Stone County, Izard County, and Sharp County in our area right now. Batesville's included in this. It's just south of Marshall, so the line's not included in that. But you can see that red line, we do have a flash flood warning. The green, the darker green is a flash flood watch. The lighter is a flood warning. The difference between a flash flood and a flood warning is the flash flood hits it so fast you can't hardly realize it's happening. And the flood warnings, the water's coming up and flooding kind of in a slower pace. 7-day forecast, we got the flood watch and warnings now through 7 a.m. on Thursday, so basically another 24 hours. We have a high today of 79, 84 on Thursday, 83 on Friday with sunshiny skies Friday and Saturday, 82 on Saturday. Checking iDrive Arkansas, they've got some watch boxes here. This is your flash flood warning right here on iDrive Arkansas. Accident at exit 125, mile marker 125 westbound lanes on Interstate 40 at Conway. State Police Troop A are working on that. It was reported at last update was 4:50 a.m. so it was an overnight accident there, and it's still on the map, so there may be some problems there. So if you're in the Conway area, be careful there. State of Missouri, we've got Highway J still being worked on. Highway 201 in Arkansas, let me correct myself, 201 North in Arkansas changes to Highway J in Missouri. They're working on the Lick Creek Bridge. If you're visiting the Twin Lakes area and need to go to Springfield, use Highway 5 North. West Plains area, use Highway 101. Both go to Highway 160. If you go up into Missouri on 201, you're going to cross over there and have some detours because the bridge is being worked on. They've got some approaches to finish and things like that. So save yourself a little time. Use Highway 5 or Highway 101 to go north into Missouri. Lake levels today, 677.60 on Bull Shoals Lake. That's 18.6 feet above 659, the full pool. Norfolk at 564.35. That's 12.35 feet above a full pool of 552. Current pollen index, I'm just going to report what they're saying today is 10.5 today, 10 tomorrow, but with all this rain, it can't help but wash some of this down. Ragweed, chennepods, and nettle are your culprits. The coronavirus update, looky right here, we have dropped in the serious or critical. I checked this morning, it was a little bit over 61,000. We've dropped around 1,000 on the serious or critical. Now this is the worldwide list here. This is not Arkansas, this is worldwide. And in mild condition, this came down 100,000 here from 6.8 million down to 6.7 million. So the numbers are dropping. Good news here in Arkansas. I checked the active cases this morning. It was at 5466. We dropped 430 active cases right here. So if we keep on going the way we are, this should drop again later today. The 6-county area, Baxter, Marion, Searcy, Stone, Izard, and Fulton, we have 658 positive. We have 169 active with 486 recovered. 3 persons have passed away. All 3 are reported in Stone County. We have testing of 11,868. And so the numbers seem to be getting a little bit better. Right now in Baxter County, 26 active, 7 in Marion, 53 in Searcy, 43 in Stone, 25 in Izard, and 15 in Fulton counties. And let's see, let me hit that other, Scooter likes this map here. And
It just shows current what's going on
Yeah.
rather than
but
from the
this active
beginning to
cases
now.
right here dropped. It was, let me pull, I had it on my phone here. I took a picture of it so I make sure I get the right numbers here. It's, the active cases this morning were 5,466, and we've dropped down to 5,036, a difference of 430. So the active are coming down. So anyway, crude oil price today is at $42.99. It's up 0.54%. The Dow Jones Industrial is looking good. And let's see, right here on March 23rd, it was 18,591. Yesterday closed at 28,645. So we've got some great gains since March 23rd. 28,645 on the Dow Jones Industrial is up 215.61. That is some good news. Morning weather and all the updates brought to you by the Z-Team. Bob and Linda's the door for all your real estate needs. 870-405-0793. The website, retiredarkansas.net. Time for a quick break. Jamie Leach is here.
We're going to do community.
Oh, yeah, we haven't had it in 6 months. I got to get used to it again.
I've been doing it last week. I got a fundraiser here for the Bob Davis Veterans Center.
Oh,
It
I
will
forgot about
actually be held at the Bob Davis Veterans Center, which is 421 East 9th Street here in Mountain Home.
Yep.
They have got a lot of cool stuff. This is going to be going on September 19th, 2020, from
Saturday.
12 to 5. Tickets are on sale. They're $20 a ticket. You can get it at So Unique or Baxter Insurance. And they've got live auctions, silent auctions, raffles. They got food, tons of door prizes, just so much going on. They've got their MC is Jeremy Rabe. From he is a host of the Ozark Fox AM. So should be a good time. Got a lot of stuff going on. I'd imagine it'd be great food. They've got so many prizes and auction stuff that it'll be a good time for everybody.
Good cause. Okay, take a break now?
You can.
Okay, time for a break. Be right back.
Driftwood Lanes. Fun happens here.
When I grow up, I want to save lives, like a superhero, and show up when people needed me.
When I grow up, I want to do animations. I want to create characters that can fly.
No matter what it is you want out of life, there is a path to get there.
When I grow up, I don't know what I want to do when I grow up, but I know I want to go to college.
Arkansas State University Mountain Home. Take your first step at asumh.edu.
Hi, we're Bob and Linda Zadora, the Z-Team at Century 21 Lemac Realty, and we'd like you to meet the rest of our team.
When you are working with the Z-Team, you will find that not only are they down-to-earth people, but they are trained professionals who work with downsizers, first-time homebuyers, and clients who may want to relocate to our beautiful Ozarks. Our team has agents who specialize in lake and river properties, listing and selling raw land, acreage, and all residential homes. Listing your property with the Z-Team will help get it sold with unmatched Century 21 global marketing. You can find out more at retiretoarkansas.net.
Hi, I'm Benny with Ammo Dump.
At Ammo Dump, they carry new and used firearms, large supply of shotguns, rifles, and handguns. Ammo Dump will buy, sell, or trade in your item and can special order whatever you like. They also have knives, scopes, ammo of any caliber, and provide gun cleaning and restoration. Call them today for the best competitive pricing around.
If I don't have it or can't get it because they don't make it, come and see us.
That's Ammo Dump, located next to Woodman's Package in Norfolk.
At MSI, they're not just another trash service. They're your friendly, family-owned and operated trash service, providing residential, commercial, and roll-off pickup. MSI offers competitive rates and services 5 counties in the north central Arkansas area. Various dumpster sizes available for commercial and accommodating you with weekly pickup for your convenience. Call Tammy or Kathy today at MSI. MSI Trash Service, small enough to know you and large enough to service you.
At Connor Family Funeral Home, our goal is to provide our friends and neighbors with caring, compassionate services at an affordable price. Connor Family is a full-service funeral home that offers a wide range of services to meet your family's needs and customs. We are the first on-site crematory in the area and provide many options to memorialize your loved ones and address all the details for a more personalized service. Where compassion and affordability meet, Connor Family Funeral Home in Mountain Home.
Have you ever noticed every time you wash your car, you end up wetter than the actual car? Next time, run down to Car Care and let the friendly staff put a smile on your face. Car Care of Mountain Home has a variety of services to clean your vehicle's needs, inside and out. From a simple wash and shine to their outstanding detailed services. Located 1525 Highway 62 East in Mountain Home. Stop by Car Care Mountain Home today, because driving a clean car always makes you feel good.
When you think about Hospice of the Ozarks, it's our desire that you think about finding a way to live your life to the fullest while living with a serious illness. If you ever need help and support, we provide a team of healthcare professionals and volunteers that will support your physical, emotional, and spiritual aspects of life while doing the same for your family and caregivers in the comfort of your own home or wherever you call home. When you think about Hospice of the Ozarks, we hope that you grant us permission to walk on the journey with you. Your not-for-profit option since 1979.
At Letty.
$7:21. Jamie Leach is here from First Step of BRMC, and welcome back. It's always good to have you on.
Thank you. Thanks. Good to be here.
So, we need to talk a little bit of addictions and how to help folks get some help. First Step's a great program.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. So I guess I'll just kind of start by telling y'all what we do, and some of you hopefully already know. But we, so I work at First Step, like Dale said, which is at the hospital at Baxter Regional, and we are a drug and alcohol detox service. So we provide the medical component, meaning for people that are having physical withdrawal symptoms from substances like alcohol, any kind of opiates, you know, from heroin to pills, benzos, that kind of thing. And so for those of you that don't know, Baxter Regional is an acute care hospital. And so we have great staff, very caring staff, compassionate staff. We have great physicians. And so all of our patients are under the care of a physician, just like every other patient would be in the hospital. And we are able to help them through those withdrawal symptoms, and then also not just to make it a little bit more comfortable, but safer. Because, you know, if you're coming off of, well, especially really alcohol is probably the most dangerous. You could have a stroke, you could have a seizure. We've had a lot of people, for some reason, even more so recently, that have had seizures, you know, and it's not necessarily that the seizure itself is going to kill you, but obviously you fall, hit your head, you know, there's just a lot of things that go along with that. So be driving or, you know, something like that.
So what causes that issue with the alcohol? If you're coming down cold turkey, what happens?
You know, I don't know exactly what it is that, I mean, the withdrawals is what can lead into the seizure, and then some people have like seizure disorders anyway, which just complicates that. But I don't know the exact like biological link between the withdrawal and having the seizure, and I don't know why some people are more prone to it than others necessarily, but it's fairly common. I mean, it's fairly common to see that. So we obviously give medication that would help avoid that happening while you're there, or if God forbid that you did have a seizure, obviously you've got your staff right there to help and intervene. So, but yeah, I mean, I can think of several people that have had multiple seizures.
It's coming down off alcohol.
Mm-hmm. And it can happen on other things too, but alcohol seems to be the one that's most common for.
Wow, I had no idea on that.
And sometimes people will try to, like, just again recently, I can think of a couple people, they tried to detox on their own at home, and they had a seizure, so that's why they were like, you know what, I tried and I couldn't do it, so I need some help. So I'm like, well, good, because this is a much, you know, if it was me, that's the route I would go. I would definitely want to be in a safe place, you know. So
because you step them down gently.
Yeah, we
not necessarily going cold turkey, but help them.
And that's the thing, because it's kind of like, you know, we always make food references just because I think people can relate to that. But if you want to cut back on your alcohol, technically, could you taper yourself down? Yeah, but you know, if you were good at tapering yourself down, you probably wouldn't have a problem with alcohol. Because the idea is if it's there, you're probably going to drink it. So you're not going to go, today I'm just going to have one, and then tomorrow I'm going to, it's hard to do that if you're in the middle of an addiction. So that's how we can give medication on a tapered dose that helps you, like you're saying, ease you out of it. So we're not just taking it away and not helping you through that. We're doing it in a way that's safe, that your body kind of has like the time to adjust to coming out of it.
What's the most dangerous addiction to come down off of, whether cold turkey or?
I honestly, when I first started, I probably would have thought that it was more like the opiates, like heroin and stuff like that. And not that can't be dangerous, because it absolutely can. But I think what you would see with that would be more a risk for overdose as opposed to death from withdrawal. Not always, but so the alcohol, according to a couple of our physicians that I've talked to, is probably has the most likelihood of having a serious complication from withdrawal.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, wouldn't
wow.
have thought so,
I
huh?
had no idea.
But no, the opiates are, I think it's more like you feel like you're dying. I mean, the symptoms of withdrawal can be so severe that you're literally laying in the bathroom floor, just very sick. And that could lead to complications, of course. And you can get dehydrated from, vomiting and other things. And so that can also prove to be fatal in some instances, but typically it's just going to be really uncomfortable for the opiates. And that's the thing, like even if you decide you want to quit and you're sincere about it and you have good intentions, it's so hard to push yourself through that sickness at home when like if I just use a little more, I'm going to feel so much better. It's just tough. So I think that we can, even though we're just the beginning of their whole recovery process, we can step in just enough to kind of break that cycle, get them through that part to where they're stable, and then go on to get help.
I can't imagine what people go through trying to get off of something.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine.
Again, we focus on the physical part, but there's so much, so it's the sickness, it's the psychological, it's the changes in your brain, the way that your brain functions if you've been using something for a long time. It's the lack of the dopamine and the serotonin that's being produced, so you feel depressed. It's a lot to work on. But it's definitely doable. People do it every day and it's wonderful. But, you just kind of have to go into it knowing it's going to be a process. It's not going to be, I leave detox in 3 days and I'm cured and I don't ever, want anything again. And I've had to explain that to people, family members. Sometimes they'll think that, well, when they get home in 3 days, they're going to be like, okay. I'm like, well, they're going to be medically stabilized and they're going to be medically sound, and that's what we provide. But if they don't follow up with something, it's not likely that that's going to be successful for them.
2 oddball questions for you. These are way out in left field. Okay, remember the movie It's a Wonderful Life?
Yes.
There's a part in the movie where the policeman's going after Clarence and he just disappears. And the taxi driver says, I need a drink. Think about I need a drink. Okay. In White Album, the Beatles album, White Album, Happiness is a Warm Gun, I need a fix because I'm going down.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Both times they say, I need.
Right.
What causes that?
Well, that's a good question. I think that's kind of a multifaceted thing. But for one, just kind of starting from the first thing you said, like, I need a drink. So that person's kind of in an anxiety-producing moment or whatever. And so, I've actually been studying this lately because I'm going back to school. So you look at mental health issues, and it's kind of like, what came first, the chicken or the egg kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So it's like a lot of people, I'll give an example. Say someone that was in the service and has PTSD. So they cope with their PTSD by drinking. So PTSD is kind of their main symptom. Or sometimes it can be, the other way around. So what you look at is, are people using it to cope with something? Is that how it started? Is it because they do have severe anxiety and that calms them down? Or is the anxiety just a symptom of them being a problematic drinker? So again, I think that just goes back to prove the point of you really need to do the work to dig in and look at all those aspects, because everybody's so different. You know, it could be a lot of people that have substance abuse have trauma. You know, maybe they were abused as a child, maybe they were in an abusive relationship, maybe they witnessed a traumatic event. I mean, there's so many things, and I think a lot of times that
people are looking for an escape.
Yeah, that's part of it. I mean, honestly, a lot of people just do it for fun, and then some people, seems like when they're young, maybe they do a few things, experiment, and they can just walk out of it and they're fine. But a lot of people unintentionally get hooked on it, and I don't, there's a lot of discussion and studies about that as far as why some people are more like predisposed to that. I think there is a genetic component. But sometimes it is hard to pinpoint. You're like, well, this person came from a good family, or this one came from this, but they all ended up in the same situation. So it's not like you can judge it based on their background or their education level or anything. Sometimes it's just all over the board. So I think it's really interesting, actually.
Wow. 7:31, time for a break. More with Jamie right after the break. Be right back.
Mexican restaurant, we are here to keep you safe during these difficult times, as well as serve you the best Mexican food in the area. That's why we have installed a convenient drive-through window for all your to-go and pickup orders. Give us a call at 870-435-2532 to order your next meal, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and ask us about our daily specials for a low price to feed the whole family. Experience the best in Mexican cuisine. Letty's in Gassville.
Take a step back in time when going to a barbershop meant more than just getting a haircut. Come into Legionnaire Barbershop today, a unique gentleman's barbershop. Get back in style with 2 experienced licensed barbers who are trained in tonsorial arts and lock removal and are happy to give you a straight razor shave. Legionnaire Barbershop is veteran-owned and operated and located at 1041 Highland Circle, Suite 55 in Mountain Home. For a full, old-fashioned barbershop experience, stop by Legionnaire Barbershop today.
Did you know when you shop at Sears Hometown Stores, you are supporting your local community? That's right. Your local Sears Hometown Store is locally owned and operated by one of your neighbors. Their store offers the best of what Sears has to offer with the top brands in appliances, tools, and lawn and garden. They also offer great financing options that work no matter what you need. Remember to stop by your local Sears Hometown Store today and support a local member of your community.
$7:33, visiting with Jamie Leach, First Step at Baxter Regional Medical Center. During the break, I mentioned the Ron Howard film, 8 Days a Week. It's the touring years of the Beatles. And I told Jamie, I said, I don't see how those guys survived 1964, 65, and 66. George Harrison said we go from a car to a hotel room, from the hotel room to a car to a stage, back to the car to the hotel room. And he told his sister Louise at one point, he says, we're normal, the rest of the world is crazy. And so when people get up in this very popular rock star status, and of course the 4 Beatles were in their early 20s, but you get people like even Brad Pitt, grew up in Springfield, Missouri, denounced God, all this stuff, I don't believe all this stuff. They get hung up in alcohol and drugs and all this crazy stuff.
Well, I think a lot of times that's because, people are, basically kind of using them for fame and fortune and popularity, so they're not surrounded by people that probably really care, they're just kind of, what can they get out of them, or how can they jump on that bandwagon, or and it's acceptable in that it's acceptable in a lot our basic culture today, I think, but especially in that world, like it's like the more the better. There's no nobody's like, don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, the sky was the limit. The money's coming in, the popularity is there, they do what they want to do, but, it does take that toll.
Oh, definitely does. I think when people are younger, like they were, you can take it for a while and you do okay and you bounce back okay, but there's nobody that walks away unscathed from living a life of addiction, or it just doesn't.
Okay, so let's bring it down to everyday people. Scooter, myself, you, your family, my family. My boys are blue-collar workers. It can happen to anybody.
Absolutely.
And what causes the addiction? I mean, I don't...
Well,
I'm not addicted to.
Well, again, it is. It does seem to get a hold of some people quicker than others, and again, there's a lot of discussion about that, so I don't have an exact answer. But what it does, like I kind of said before, it changes your brain chemistry. So you were saying, you were making an example from the movie about someone needing a drink or needing a fix or whatever. And so that's really what it becomes. It becomes really to the point where maybe in the beginning you used it for fun or whatever, but then now your body, you're dependent. That's a better word for it. You're physically dependent on it. And so without it, you're going to sink into, typically depression is just across the board with any substance. That's going to be one of the main undercurrents of why people continue to use, because your brain quits producing those chemicals at the level that it should, and it takes a while to repair that. Did you say the word depression? Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna make a note of that.
Absolutely, depression's huge. Anxiety's huge, and then of course, like I said, I'm just going to use the opiate example. So if you're used it and then all of a sudden you're trying to quit and your body's cramping up and you are vomiting and sweating and feel like you're gonna die, you need your fix, because it's not even so much the high anymore, it's just the not being sick. You're just trying to stay above water at that point. And it just gets to be such a cycle, it's just hard to break out of that. So hopefully we can help with that a little bit.
The word depression, I think that one word has probably got 14 different areas that we could pinpoint.
Yeah.
You could think like, oh, well, I didn't get to see my grandkids today, I'm so depressed. Well, that's one facet.
Right.
Okay. But then you say, well, they're suffering from depression, they have bipolar depression, they have this and this. What is it? Is this an emotion? Is it a mental?
Well, I think it can be...
this rain is so depressing.
Right.
No, people can come up with that
yeah,
word.
Right, can kind of use it loosely when it's not all...
But
exactly.
What is depression?
So I think when you're, there's like situational depression, which is more of a temporary something maybe happened and it's going to be maybe kind of like a period of time surrounding an event that you might be depressed. And then there's maybe following a death or maybe not even something quite that severe, but then loss of a job or something. You may have depression, and that would be normal. You could see why someone would be that way. And then you have depression that's clinical, that really doesn't matter what's going on in your life. You can be going back to the rock star stuff. Look at some of the people that kill themselves and they're so unhappy. It's not because they don't have all the stuff they want.
Ironically said, I watched the thing on Johnny Carson. Remember Johnny Carson on The Tonight Show? You think he's got fame and fortune. He's got the mansion, the swimming pool, tennis court. He was a knockdown, drag-out drunk.
Right.
He was so unhappy with him. Can you imagine?
Yeah, and you could probably name, I could think of a billion more examples of that too, just, rock stars, actors, whatever, movie stars, Hollywood. And I get it though, because I think that none of those things really bring...
Well, one thing from George Harrison, he says, secure. I only asked to be successful, I didn't ask to be famous.
Yeah. Yeah. Think about the pressure that would come with that too. Like a lot of people oh, I'd love to be famous, but would you really? Would you really love cameras in your face all the time? And the pressure of how you look and act and what you say, and I don't know. I see where it could be a lot of...
we get down to the point, I've argued a lot of points with preachers over the past 50 years about John Lennon's statement where he said we're more popular than Jesus Christ. Well, break it down a little bit. He was actually talking about a positive, not a negative, because he was in New York in 1966, on a break, and one of his art college buddies was in New York, says, what do you find to be so amusing about being as popular? He says, you can mention our names anywhere in the world and they know who you are. We mention Jesus Christ, they who?
Right.
We're more popular than well.
Right. Yeah.
And we put all kinds of things in the way of Jesus Christ anymore. Now they say that NCAA Southeast Conference football is,
gosh. Don't
dragged
even
up
get
the
us
wall.
started on that.
But I can see his point. And when you're thinking that point where I can be in Africa or I can be in the United States, I can be in Europe or Asia, and they know my name, they know everything about me.
Right.
Dude, I'd be hiding under a rock.
I think it would freak me out. Thank God I'm not that cool, because it would freak me. I would hate that. And I mean, the way that, especially now with things being a lot more like social media and just a lot more publicized and stuff, every little thing is criticized. And I mean, talk about, anxiety and depression and stuff like that. I mean, when you have the whole world looking at you and critiquing you, it's a lot for some people.
And what's the difference between the two, the depression and anxiety?
I think that
anxiety has anxious in there.
Oh yeah, I mean, some people. I have a friend in particular I'm thinking of, and he struggles with anxiety, and it's not really something that you can. It kind of comes out of nowhere sometimes, and it's you can do things to kind of try to control it and control your environment and have coping skills. But some people have a legitimate anxiety disorder, just like, again, the clinical depression. You have an imbalance in your brain. It's nothing you can just get over. You have to treat it like you would whatever, like diabetes or heart condition. And so, and I think a lot of people have turned to substances to do that. But what happens, of course, again, alcohol is a depressant. So if you're depressed, you drink alcohol to make you feel better. It's really just going to make you feel worse at the end because you're going to be more depressed. So it's just funny how you would think that you're trying to treat your depression with a depressant. But,
hello, McFly.
Yeah, I know. Not a lot of logic, but that's not, addiction, unfortunately, isn't very logical. And, I ask people a lot, and it's like, they can't explain it either. They know that it's crazy, but it, you're just so driven by it and dependent on it that you just feel like you have to have it. Like, you feel like you have to have your air you breathe, and it's just that important to them. So
well, when you said chemical imbalance, okay, in my world I picture, you can't have antifreeze in the oil, you're gonna lock up an engine, or you can't try to mix lacquer-based paint with enamel-based thinner. It just don't work,
right.
Nor can you put gasoline in the motor oil. That's, to me, that's it doesn't work. When you talk about chemical imbalance in the brain, what are we talking about there?
So I'll use meth as an example.
Meth?
So let's say you're a meth user. So again, let's go back to self-medicating. So say you're a person that struggles with depression. When you use meth, it floods your brain with dopamine. Dopamine is the feel-good chemical. It's like a mood regulator, a kind of energizer, if you will, and it makes you feel good. So when your brain is flooded with dopamine, it's like, yay, I don't feel depressed. I've got energy. I don't feel. But again, it's just like with the alcohol being a depressant. But what happens when that flood of dopamine is gone from your brain? Your brain then starts to think, I'm not going to produce as much dopamine because clearly they've got that covered with the meth here. So your brain just kind of goes on autopilot and doesn't produce very much. So you're so depressed. You started using it because you're depressed. Now you're more depressed. So what's the only way to get it back out of that hole? Use it again. It's just such a vicious cycle, but it can be broken. It can be broken.
So how many different chemicals does the brain produce?
The ones that I always think of when I think of drug use is the serotonin and the dopamine. Those are probably the top two. And your endorphin production too. We know, when you get an endorphin rush from something exciting or whatever happening, that's another thing that can be, the production can be slowed. So those are kind of like the top three things that I always think of, just because they affect mood, depression, anxiety, and all those things. And it takes a while. I think that sometimes people kind of relapse because it takes a while. If you've been using something for a while, you need probably, it's going to take months, a year to kind of get back to where you need to be, and that's okay. But you kind of have to expect to go through those steps to get back to that. And if you don't have support, there's so many factors that go into that, or even little things like not having transportation to get to your appointments or counseling or this or that. So there's a lot of things to consider.
That started my grandfather's decline. He loved to drive. Mm-hmm. And one evening, they lived at Poplar Bluff, Missouri after they retired from St. Louis, and it was one evening they had the TV news on or something, and my grandfather took his glasses off, was rubbing his eyes like this. He did this. He says, well, I can't see out of that eye, you know. And he kind of moved. He didn't turn his head, but he, you know how your eyes can move back and forth. Well, I can see when I do this, but and he had a retinal degeneration.
Oh yeah.
And like you said, not being able to drive. And they said, well, you passed the point of driving, and he started his decline.
It is a big, that's a big deal. That's independence, and that's ability to follow up on the things that you need to do medically. And yeah, and in our area, rural area, if you don't have transportation, it's hard to get where you need to go. It's not like, hey, can you come get me? I live, south of Yellville, down in the middle of nowhere, and I need to get to Mountain Home for an appointment. Like, most people are like, well, sorry, it's hard if you don't have the funds or whatever. So there's some barriers that we experience in this area. But again, there's always a way. Yep. There's always a way to get help.
There you go. Come up at 7:46. Quick break. More with Jamie right after this.
Jim Brown Company keeps you cool when it's hot and warm when it's not. A trusted name in the mountain home community, Jim Brown Company provides timely heating and cooling installation and repairs. Our certified technicians incorporate new technology on every job to provide you with the most advanced services. At our metal fabrication shop, we handle projects big and small. We've created everything from commercial ducts to custom designs.
I'd recommend Jim Brown Company to my friends and neighbors. The reason being they have high-tech equipment. Their service techs are well qualified for the job that they do, and they also send me a report after all the work is done so I know exactly what my unit's doing.
By visiting our showroom, you can learn all about our heating and cooling products. We'll educate you on your options and help you decide on the right solution. For total comfort at your home or business, choose Jim Brown Company. Quality service with a family name since 1964.
When you're out of town, make sure your pet is with someone who will love them as much as you do. At 201 Pet Salon and Resort, your pet is cared for just as they would be at home. 201 Pet Salon and Resort is the only all-suite climate-controlled and air-filtered boarding facility in the area with private and spacious rooms to keep your pet relaxed. And with over 3/4 of an acre of fenced play area, your pet will receive the proper exercise they deserve. 201 also offers professional grooming services. Your best friend is in good hands at 201 Pet Salon and Resort in Mountain Home.
It takes the right gear to survive out here. Oh, there she is, Ferris. It's the best gear around. Strong as an ox. Safe as houses. Out back, there's one powerful beast. Awesome. 4-wheel suspension. Handles whatever Mother Nature throws at you. Designed to take the hard out of hard work and deliver all the power you could need. So if you want to tackle the great outdoors, get yourself a Ferris.
Get the only mower with suspension technology at Mower Warehouse in Mountain Home, where they accept mower trade-ins, have flexible financing options, and services all brands and models. That's Mower Warehouse, located on Buzzard Roost in Mountain Home.
Diatley Dental Care is a family-owned dental practice. Doctors Irvin and Christina Diatley grew up in the Twin Lakes area and are proud to serve the community. With modern treatment methods and state-of-the-art technology, they are dedicated to providing exemplary care to patients of all ages. Our compassionate team consistently receives training above and beyond the standard of care.
We're changing the way you see dentistry.
Come be a part of our dental family.
$7:49, finishing out the program with Jamie Leach, First Step from Baxter Regional Medical Center. And I tell you what, the knowledge that you've got on this is very beneficial to the communities, and of course, Baxter Regional serves so many counties, both in Arkansas and Missouri. It's very good to have the First Step program here.
I agree 100%. I'm very grateful to be a part of it, and I think we, we get people from quite a few surrounding counties, pretty far in southern Missouri, as you can imagine, and probably down to like central Arkansas. And so I know that it has helped many people, and I realize sometimes when I'm on here and talking, it's like it sounds so negative, and it is. I mean, obviously addiction is very negative, but sometimes I forget to highlight.
But the positive point is the fact that there is help at First Step.
That there is help available, and yes, we are the medical component. Yes, that's what we do, but thank goodness, through our department, we've developed a pretty good resource listing of things here throughout the state, out-of-state resources. And so that's why I kind of said before the break, there's always help available. Like, there's always a way. It might be it might look a little different for different people. Like I had someone call recently, and, she's a single mother. She works, and so she can't really go off to treatment, like a rehab per se, but she can do outpatient. There's support groups. There's a ton of online stuff. And so I think a big part of it is getting involved in something and not staying isolated, and finding that common ground with other people that can kind of hold you accountable. I think that's a huge piece of it.
Scooter coaches wrestling, and to me that's a character builder, because I've seen his boy, and I remember his boy when he's just, and I describe it like this: here he is holding on to daddy's leg like this, to where now he could flip me halfway across the room.
Can we do that on the next show? I'd like to see that. I think
as
your
long
viewers
as
would
we
like
bring
that.
an ambulance. But it's programs like this, when you start them young.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I definitely agree. I think that sports are a big help. I mean, of course, you'll see addiction in every area, but I think definitely, especially like if you're, again, someone that maybe doesn't have the greatest attention at home and structure, or maybe parents.
The one that strives for attention.
That camaraderie with your teammates or whatever, and that kind of thing, and just having to be in good physical shape. You can't show up really strung out and do a good job. So
have you had any? I mean, we can't get I don't want to name that anything, but in your work with the wrestling, have you helped people young kids with?
We've had kids that have had issues in the past, try to get past it and give them something to look forward to, and something to strive for, and something to, we're up front with them. We drug test the wrestlers and stuff like that, so they know what's coming. And there's kids there that have had a past. We're going to keep them accountable. We are going to test them, but the whole point is to build their own self-confidence up.
Okay, definitely. Yeah.
And that's a big thing. And you can get them where they can stand on their own 2 feet and be able to say no when they need to say no.
Right. Yeah.
So is there self-esteem issues here?
Oh, absolutely. And I think just especially in the younger population, trying to find where to kind of fit in. And if you're not like a very sporty, athletic person, or you're not like the straight A student, sometimes it's kind of like there's kind of like these little cliques or groups, and if you don't kind of fit in, it's real easy to fit into the substance abuse group, because it doesn't have a lot of qualifications.
They accept anybody.
They accept anybody, yeah, and it's sad, but it's kind of like that gang mentality. Kids that grow up in the projects or whatever, and they don't really have anywhere to belong. Well, the gang will welcome you in. So if you can absolutely get them pointed into something positive where they feel accepted, they feel like they have something to contribute, I think that's huge, definitely. So, I mean, I'm always a big fan of some kind of sport involvement or other group or whatever they're interested in, yeah.
Well, when you said about the gangs, remember my hometown is East St. Louis, Illinois.
Wow.
Yeah. And I remember before I-64 came through from Illinois into Missouri over into St. Louis, we had to take Highway 50 and go right through East St. Louis, Illinois.
Yeah.
And there'd be windows boarded up, and I remember the gang Warlords had spray painted stuff across a big Budweiser sign in downtown East St. Louis. And now you can't even drive through without being shot at.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
So why have our cities And I'm only talking about East St. Louis, Illinois, but you can talk about Chicago and Cleveland and Philly and Dallas and Little Rock and Memphis, and the cities just go on and on and on. Gangs, drugs.
I think a lot of statistically is fatherless households is a big part of that. If you look at that, and then again, poverty, because you think that, they kind of are in that poverty mentality, and so it's like it's a quick way to make a buck and again be involved in something and that's they feel is being accepted, and I think there's a lot of pressure in that too.
Can you imagine being in a world where you're in a city where you're sleeping with a 45 or a 9mm?
I can't imagine. I would hate it.
And in the middle of the night, you could have bullets coming through your wall. Or,
yeah.
I mean, I remember, and this is in the late 60s, early 70s.
Right.
Windows busted out. I mean, it's just
terrible.
It's like, that's the lifestyle you really want.
Right. So even if you're not involved in it yourself, think about, just being, having to be fearful of that all the time. What an awful existence. And maybe not having the ability to move out of that area financially or, it's, And again, programs in those neighborhoods, I know that they're trying to do that in some areas, but are so important, I think, especially again for the young men that don't have fathers in the home, to be like a leader in the community that's not gang related, because those are the leaders or the gang related people, and so they look up to them. And it's really
well. We've
really
got
sad.
it good in North Central Arkansas. We do have some issues, and we brought some of those issues to light here in the program. But what do we got? A little under 4 minutes. I want to talk. Let's focus now on First Step at Baxter Regional and how people can get help through
absolutely.
First Step. Yeah.
So just call me. That's the first thing to do. Just call. It's 870-508-7590, and you'll get me. My name's Jamie again. And I just want to talk to you first, and it's all confidential. Nothing strictly confidential. I take it extremely seriously. And just call and we'll chat and maybe just tell me what's going on, and I'll try to kind of help you narrow down your options or tell you what's available. And then what we basically do is get some history, get you approved through our physician, which is not a super lengthy process. And then we just schedule you a day to come in. So you come in, we have a scheduled time for you. I come down and get you, meet you, take you up to your room, get you settled in. And then from there, basically the medical staff takes over, because we try to kind of, from that first phone call, we try to get your aftercare kind of set up in advance. So we want you to know when you leave, if you're going to go to rehab, you already have that established. Or if you're going to start counseling, you've already made that appointment. Because when you get out and you don't have a plan, it tends to kind of fall apart or something doesn't work out. And so we try to really help you get that established before you come in. You stay with us for a few nights, and I'll check on you each day and can relate things to your family if you want them to be involved, or if you don't, that's fine too. And then we just make sure we, again, have you a good aftercare plan, and it's really a pretty easy process. Just starts with a phone call.
508-7590.
Yes.
Just a phone call away. I hate to see people suffer.
Absolutely. And it's all ages. It's 18 and over, and we have definitely people from the elderly population, senior population.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. So it's not, and it may be something, I know I've said this on here before, but it may be something like someone had surgery, they started on some painkillers, and they are just having a hard time coming off of those. So it isn't always it looks a little different for each person. It may be somebody that's just kind of physically dependent, and then you may have the person that's just really, really addicted, that's kind of in a more severe, lost everything kind of situation. So it spans all ages and all circumstances, and we're just happy to help in any way.
The bottom line is first you got to realize you got the problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
And then call Jamie at 508-7590. Don't like to see people hurting, people in pain or suffering,
And even if you're not sure yet what you want to do, but you're kind of like, start the process or see what your options are. I'm not going to pressure you to do anything, just want to let you know what's available, and then, you take it from there and decide what your plan is. But we're just there to kind of help walk you through it, hopefully.
First Step at Baxter Regional, 870-508-7590. You serve, what, 18 counties, 15 counties?
Oh, yeah, it's a ton. And I mean, anywhere
Arkansas,
we can take
Missouri.
people from anywhere, and we get them sometimes from the oddest of places. I'm like, how did you hear about us? Which is usually word of mouth or whatever. So,
Funny.
But we're happy to have them. So
There you go. Once again, First Step, call Jamie Leach at Baxter Regional, 508-7590. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Always
it's,
good time.
Time to run. Enjoy the rain. See you tomorrow.